everyone, my name is Edward, alongside me is Niels, and we are here for the ninth race of the iRacing Road Race series. We are now racing with the Radicals. We don't have the Formula Vs anymore, and we will be changing cars. We're expecting some good racing, and we are here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Niels, what do you think about this change and about this track?
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how the drivers cope with the Radical. It's a completely different car to the Formula Vs. Still, I'd say fairly low powered, but there's much more downforce to these cars compared to the Formula Vs with literally no downforce at all. So, gonna be interesting to see if some drivers are gonna perform better or worse with these cars. We saw last time we went to Charlotte that we had some great racing between some of the drivers, notably the racing between Joe Taberner and Benny Feech. Lovely racing from those two guys. So hopefully we're going to get more of that.
Yep, we've had a beautiful battle between Joe Taberner and Benny Feech, and Joe Taberner won one of the races. Also, Sebastian van den Heuvel won the second race. And I'm just wondering, Joe Taberner is now leading the Drivers' Championship with an advantage of 46 points. And I'm just thinking, how would he approach this race, thinking that he is coming with an advantage before the change of the cars. And I'm just wondering, how will he approach these races, thinking that he has an advantage, and will he try to gestionate this advantage and keep his position in the World Drivers' Championship, or will he try to actually extend the gap to the second driver?
Yeah, we talked a bit about it when we had the battle between him and Benny Feech. I said that maybe he was thinking about the championship rather than the race, but he proved me wrong, and he is a driver that goes for every single win that he can take. So there's still 4 races left of this championship, so I think he's still gonna focus on the win rather than the championships. So I think that's gonna be his mindset going into this one. Of course, we're looking towards the end of the season, so he may start to be a bit more cautious, seeing that he does have a slight gap to the drivers behind, and rather take the points, the safe points, rather than going for some risky moves.
Yeah, and I remember that after the last race, the round number 8, we talked with him, and you could have just tell that he's very relaxed every time he's getting into the car. Every time he's racing, he's always very, very relaxed, and you just can see, in comparison with other drivers, how he approached these races is an amazing mindset. And you've talked about the last race that happened here with the Formula Vs. And I was just wondering before going live, how would drivers approach this if they would have a different approach to this race? Because last time we've raced on this track with the Formula Vs, I think it was a shorter version of the track. But they've had a Formula Vs, which are clearly slower cars and cars that have a lot less downforce. And I was just wondering, will drivers approach this different, and will we have pretty much a same classment like in the last race? Because as you said, Benny Feech, Joe Taberner won the first race, and also Van den Heuvel won the second one. And I was just wondering, will we have different winners, or is it going to be pretty much a same race?
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see. I can't really say anything about it, as is that the Elias going across the final chicane there. Was going purple in the first sector. Fortunate for our German driver here. But I think it's going to be interesting to see how drivers cope with this kind of car. It's much faster track, much faster car with the downforce as well. I'm not sure how they're gonna be able to handle it, and if anybody's gonna be particularly fast in this one compared to the Formula Vs. But just talking about Joe Taberner, still he is a very safe driver. He doesn't go for the risky moves. He knows when to attack and when to take his battles. So I can imagine that translating some of the skills he had in the Formula Vs over to this car gonna be critical for him. The last couple of races here.
Yep, and we are now watching the qualifying. Chris Bassett is leading the qualifying, and I think he's the only car that has set a time. We're seeing a lot of purple sectors. Van den Heuvel set 2 purple sectors, and I think he's going in first place. Yes, he does. And Benny Fish set a purple first sector. Let's see how will he end the lap. He's coming very close to the end of this lap, and Benny Fish goes. Let's see, he still has a chicane to approach before the end of the lap. Let's see how will he end this lap. He gone purple on the last sector, so that is first place, 1 second advantage to Leon. He's now in first place. Beautiful livery for Benny Fish. We've seen last time he was using an Alpine livery on the Formula V's. We're seeing now a little bit of a burnout from Elias Stromer, I think it is. Elias Stromer doing a little bit of a burnout. And yeah, Benny Fish, we were talking about him. He has a beautiful Alpha Tauri livery. I do think he's very passionate about Formula 1 because last time he's had an Alpine livery, now an Alpha Tauri livery. But the car just looks awesome.
Yeah, it's a great livery here. Talking about the liveries, we see a lot of less serious liveries. Yeah, I guess we could say on the Formula V's. Some people running Crocodile, some people running WD-40 liveries, and Nightcat as well. Talking about was that Kevin Stam, I think. But yeah, an AlphaTauri livery here, and the livery we saw from Elias Stromer. Lovely liveries. As Benny Fish actually improves his lap ever so slightly. Just a tiny bit.
Only 3 cars that has set a time now. Benny Fish first place, Leon second, and Chris Bassett in third place. We're now watching Victor Hansen, who have not set a time. I don't know if it's because of the track limits or if he just did not set a time until now. But well, also talking about liveries, this Repsol livery looks awesome, and it reminds me of the old MotoGP Honda motorcycles, if I'm not wrong. They were using this Repsol livery, which were looking amazing back then. I think it was around 2005, 2006, around then, when they had this blue with orange. Now Repsol is also still sponsoring in MotoGP, but they are running a full purple livery.
Yeah, talk about purple liveries. I think it was great that Aston Martin came in and changed that for Formula 1. But the livery certainly looks good on Victor's car. I'm sorry, I can't really see anything on my screen. It's blurry, real blurry.
Yep, we're now watching Jesse Hayes, car number 1, starting his fast lap. Let's see where will he go. The Charlotte Motor Speedway, the track that we are now, is as probably the majority of you know, in the United States of America. It's a beautiful track used in the majority of time for NASCAR, and I do think that's the most popular event that's going on at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's an interesting track. I remember when we were talking about this track last time when we raced here with the Formula V's, we were talking about how beautiful the track actually is. And I think the qualifying has ended and we will be going for the first race. Yep, so this is the grid for the first race. Benny Fish will start in pole position. Leon in second place, Chris Bassett in third place, Victor Hansen in fourth place, Justin Hayes in fifth, Van den Heuvel in sixth place, Elias Stromer in seventh place, and Manuel Gomez will start in last position. We're missing someone, or at least we can say we're missing 2 important drivers from this grid, Joe Taberner and also Kevin Stam, the drivers that are actually first and second in the Drivers' Championship. They will not take part in this race. I'm wondering, what happened to them? Are they not racing because of the madness that happened in Formula 1 and they are tired from it, or are they just taking some time off? As I've heard now, uh, maybe he's practicing for the race that will be tomorrow with the Formula One cars. But we are going with the 5 likes, and away we go. It's a beautiful start from Benny Fitch. He's going side by side with Leon. They are still going side by side, but Benny Fitch going to fast spin, and he's into the wall. Benny Fitch.
Unfortunate for Benny Fitch. Oh, and who is that in the background? It's just Manuel Gomez.
Manuel Gomez is in the wall, yes, and we're now watching a replay. Benny Fish got a beautiful start. Leon was very, very close to him. They were going side by side, and I do think that he was just a little bit too happy on the throttle, and he just lost the backhand, hit the wall. He's round, and I do think he has some damage. We are back with live images. He's only to 7th place. Behind him is only the rookie, Manuel Gomez, who is in the last place, the Spanish driver. And we're now watching Leon Van Elvoet leading the race. Very close to him, we have Chris Bassett and Justin Hayes. And they are going also close. For third one, let's see what will happen. Oh, it's a spin. He saved it. Oh, that's a crash behind. I think that's Justin Hayes crashing.
Yeah, would be lovely if we could get a replay of the guy in the background crashing, as we have 3 drivers going side by side into the final chicane, and this is Gomez going a bit slow. Is this a replay still? Yeah.
Oh.
It's a turn 1.
This Manuel Gomez spin, and I do think we don't have the replay of Justin's crash, but that's no problem. We are still watching live images. Leon Van Elvoet is still leading the race, but Justin Hayes is very, very close. The gap between them only 0.6 of a second. And let's see, Leon Van Elvoet had a hard moment there going in the chicane when he almost lost it, but he saved it, and he's still leading the race.
Yeah, and I think this answers our question from earlier. How does the drivers cope with these cars? I think getting a bit too used to the low-powered Formula Vs, getting a bit too trigger-happy, as you could probably call it. Very difficult car to drive as well. These radicals, especially in downshifting, you need to blip if you haven't enabled an assist for that. As this is Justin Hayes getting very close to... No, is this Justin Hayes? Yeah. Very close to down in front. I can't read his name, fortunately.
Yep, so we are seeing now on board. We are going on board with Justin Hayes, car number 1. He's going very close to Leon Van Elvoet, chasing him down for a possible race lead at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Well, remember, we have 2 races. The second race is the reverse grid race, and it's just always beautiful racing in there. And let's see, he's very, very close, chasing down Leon Van Elvoet. I know he feels the pressure. I know he sees the blue car in the mirror, and Leon Van Elvoet, the Dutch driver, is now leading the race, but for how much long?
Gonna be interesting into this chicane. Oh, he's getting a bit of air on the front of the car there. That's not ideal for him. I've heard some of the drivers say that it's easy flat if you're driving alone, but as soon as you're in the slipstream, you need to be careful. Justin Hayes gets a bit closer into turn 1. Looks for the move. He looks for the switchback, actually, and he's gonna be able to make it side by side. It looks like
yes, he did.
as well.
Switchback of dream. Beautiful move
to
there.
get parts. Still side by side, the 2 drivers, but manages to get that pass done by turn 4. Lovely move from Elias as well, managing to make the best out of the situation.
Yep, and let's see what will Justin do. Will he go for the lead? Will he now try to build an advantage, or will he just try to gestionate what he has now and to control the race? I wonder what he will do. He looks like he's pushing for the win. He has 1 second advantage now to the driver in second place, which is Elias Stromer right now, with a beautiful livery. If I see well, it's written on the side pod, "Just send it." Will that be his quote for this race or not? Because it looks like it's working for him. He's in second place, and he's just chasing down for a possible first race. For first
as long
win.
as it doesn't end in tears, I wouldn't mind him sending it. on anybody, especially not in such a low participated field as this one is. Sadly, we've seen a lot more drivers in these. I was about to say these cars, not in these cars, but in this league. How many did we have for Sukuba? I think we had 12, 13. So a bit sad to see the drivers falling off here towards the end. As Justin Hayes is not really able to pull much of a gap. How far is he in front? Okay, he's 2 seconds in front. I see on my timings here. So as far as he shows that he has the pace. This is Beach, very close to Chris Bassett. They're coming down towards the final chicane here. This is the first one. Oh, bit of air from all 3 drivers.
Yeah, but I wonder if they get damage from these curves, because we see every single driver is going very, very hard on these curves, and I wonder if they are getting damage or if they are just keeping the car, or if that's the fastest line that they can approach through those corners. Oh, there's someone in the wall. Who is there? I think that's Victor Hansen, who losing a lot of places. Oh, there's the crash. There was a crash between Benefic. But we're now watching a replay of Victor Hansen, and I think after that we will have a replay of Benefic. We will see, but now we're watching Victor Hansen. Oh, just as we say.
Yeah, some of the drivers seeing a bit too much curb.
And now we're seeing Benefic's crash. Let's see, he was trying to send one down the inside. There was a little bit of space, but that was a huge impact. If that was to happen in real life, that would have been a huge incident. But thankfully, and there was again someone else going into the wall there.
Who is that trying to avoid Benefic standing still? Is that may have been Van den Heuvel? No. Yeah, I think it was. Fortunately. And these cars do not carry any damage after incident, so it doesn't matter too much that they take a lot of curbs. It's more of the time that they lose.
Yeah, we should be concentrating on what's happening right now live, because it's a very beautiful battle for the lead between Justin Hayes and Elias Stromer, both in blue cars, but Elias Stromer is in the car that has a little bit of pink on it. They are battling for the win, and they are very close one to each other, less than a second between the 2 drivers. And we've seen a lot of incidents into the race, but we will coming back to those, because Elias Stromer is now chasing down to a straight line, close to the end of lap number 7. Will he try anything into turn 1, because we've seen that that's pretty much the best spot to overtake, or will he wait for a mistake from Justin Hayes, because we've seen a lot of mistakes from drivers on this track, and it might just be better to stick it up behind. I think there was contact.
Yeah. Not enough to...
There was contact.
There was a bit of contact, yeah, but not enough to really make any impact on the leading car. Other than perhaps a scary moment for our American driver.
We were seeing Elias Stromer there. We were seeing Elias Stromer there in the bottom of the stream, a picture of him, which I do feel like it's a very, very nice touch seeing actually driver. We have him again. Beautiful touch to see him on our live stream. I think Leon van Elvoet has a picture with him in the Red Bull suit. I don't know if it's photoshopped or he actually bought a Red Bull suit, but anyways, very interesting picture. Yeah, we're seeing it now. Look at it.
I hope we get some live webcams next time. Would have been even better seeing some of the reactions from these drivers.
Yeah, so as I just heard now, it's a new feature that we are adding to have an idea with who are we racing.
Bit of a slide from Justin Hayes, allowing Sturmer to make a move for the lead, and he does. Manages to pull it off.
That's a change in the lead.
But it's Justin Hayes going to come back here. It doesn't look like he's close enough for turn 4 here. And it's Sturmer pulling a bit of a gap. Lovely move from the German driver.
Yep, so I've just heard now in my headphones that the incident between Benny Fitch and Chris Bassett has been noted and it will be investigated after the race. So we might have some drama just after we will end this race because of the incident that happened between Benny Fitch and Chris Bassett. And yeah, Benny Fitch just doesn't look like he takes a break on this track. He was leading, he has led most of the race here at Charlotte with the Formula V's. Now, then he crashed with Joe Taberner, and now he is under investigation on the incident with Chris Bassett. But we should be concentrating on what is happening on the live because Elias Stromer and Justin Hayes are still going very close to each other. I'm hearing now that Victor Hansen had a crash. He is down into sixth place. Let's see, we are watching the replay. He's a driver with a beautiful Repsol livery and
Yeah, just taking a bit too much curb, unsettling the car going out of the chicane. But manages to get a few nice pirouettes in and carry on.
this is a replay. We have a change in the lead again. Justin Hayes is back into the lead of the race. We've missed that on the live. We are now back live, but we've seen it in the replay. Justin Hayes is back into the lead. And on lap number 10 out of 18, the two drivers are still very close. Justin Hayes is leading the race. And I'm wondering, is he so fast on this track because he's at his home race in USA and he knows the track very well? Or is he in first place mainly because of his actual ability to race on these new cars?
Yeah, I think it's a bit like how Elias got past Justin. Just a bit of a mistake from the leader and the second place driver managing to capitalize on the other mistakes. So I think that's the key from his over take here. We see both drivers having a lot of pace a bit early on when Justin got the initial lead. He got a 2-second gap, but that was reduced significantly by Elias Stromer that then managed to get back up to the lead. So very interesting to see what the outcome of this race is going to be like.
Yep, and we are seeing a lot of incidents that we were not seeing with the Formula V's. This makes me wonder if these cars are that harder to drive, or is the drivers not very prepared with these new cars, and this is why so many incidents are happening.
Yes, it's a much harder car to drive. So especially compared to something like the Formula V's that is so low powered and you have a lot more time to think about every single turn that you get on into. As Elias goes up the inside. Not quite fast enough to make a move on Justin, but still shows him that he's there and he should be looking out for him.
Yeah, we're having a very, very close battle there between the two drivers, and we're still seeing them going very close. He's on the slipstream. Elias Stromer is on the slipstream, but he doesn't try anything on these corners. He's very hard. Oh, and there's the car into the wall.
Oh, and who's that into the wall?
I think Justin Hayes just got a little scared seeing that car into the wall. I do think that's Victor Hansen into the wall. Yes, it is.
Yes.
The car is flying. What's going on? Yep. He's stuck in the wall. We are having a replay of the crash.
Join some of the lovely sponsors for this track.
Oh.
Victor Hansen going a bit too hard into turn 1.
Benny Fitch again.
Benny Fitch now it's the other way around for the two drivers.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that Benny Fitch is thinking about the second race where he will starting in third place. I think we will have reverse grids. So
yes, it stands right now. He will start in third place unless Gomez doesn't grid for the second race. This is Leon Elwood having a bit of an incident. So yeah. Is that Brandon Howell getting past him? I think it is.
we're seeing a little bit of a gap forming between the first two drivers there. It doesn't really look much like a battle. Justin Hayes looks like he lost a little bit of time to his opponent, and the gap is starting to form. Elias Schromer is pushing now, and he just wants to build a gap and to go on and win this race. That's what it looks like. 1 second between the first two drivers. This is the biggest gap that we've had since the start of the race between the lead car and the second one. Elias Stromer leads, Jesse Hayes second, Chris Bassett in third place. Leon Van Elvoet has lost a podium place because of the crash that we've just seen in the replay. 4 laps till the end of the race.
Yeah, and it's not fun watching a race that's this spread out as it is. P3 being 20 seconds behind P2, but at least the most interesting battle to follow is the one for the lead, and that's what we want to see, isn't it? Of course, I think a lot of drivers are caught out by these cars being so difficult to drive. Not a very popular car to drive in the official iRacing races, so don't think it's something that they're used to. It's certainly very different from any kind of Formula car or GT cars. Justin Hayes loses the rear end into turn 1, and I think that's it's going to be it for race 1, unless we see Elias Stromer making a mistake in the final 3 laps, of the race. I think Justin Hayes will really have to, do something to that engine to make that car go much faster than it currently is, if he wants to get up back into the lead.
Yeah, it just looks very hard, and I'm just hearing now that the lap 11 incident between Benny Fitch and Victor Hansen that we've seen before will not be investigated. The stewards have said that there is no investigation necessary. So, I'm watching this race, and I'm also keeping an eye on the driver standings, and I'm seeing that Joe Taberner and Kevin Stam are not in the race, but Victor Hansen is in the race. He's now in 7th place. He was in the pits. I think he left the pits. Yes, he's now on the track, yeah. And I'm just thinking, is that a motivation in Plus? Because Victor Hansen doesn't have any title opponents now on track. He's just by his own. And I do think that he should be as motivated as ever.
Victor Hansen, there's certainly a battle for P3 here. P3 having 89 points, that's Victor Hansen, followed by Elwood with 87 points.
Oh, that's a crash.
Sebastian. Oh, and who's that into the wall? That's
Leon Van Elvoet.
Leon, as we talk about him.
Who was leading the race at the start. He was the first leader of this race. He's now into the wall in turn 1. Let's see, can he get out of that wall? Or is he stuck? We know we don't have damage, but cars can remain stuck into the wall. We've seen Victor Hansen staying stuck there on the straight line. Manuel Gomez is also retired, and Leon Van Elvoet is starting to lose place after place. He's now down into 6th place.
He's gonna have a tough time getting out of that wall without having to tow back into the pits. And I was just talking about it, Sebastian Van Heuvel and Benny Fitch being equal on points with 82, and that's only 5 behind Elwood. So,
he gone out?
As he somehow manages to get out of the wall. That's what you get with sim racing, right? You get stuck in a wall, but still manage to get out somehow. Which is quite funny, but he lost a lot of time there, being stuck in the wall and having to figure out how to deal with that situation. So I think that's going to be crucial for the battle for P3 in the championship. As we like towards the ending. Van der Heuvel leading Fitch, and then we have Elwood. And where is Victor Hansen? He's down into P7. So a really tight battle for P3, as it is right now.
And Elias Stromer just looks like he's strolling to this win. 6 seconds between the first two drivers. Now he's going to the final lap of the race. He just looks like he's going easily for the win. And I'm just hearing Benny Fitch has crashed. We're now watching a replay. Let's see what happened. Again in turn 1. Yes, in turn 1, he lost the backhand.
Yeah, it's
Strange.
just a recreation of what happened on lap 1, isn't
Yeah.
it? Just going in a bit too hot.
It's a strange way to crash on that corner because most of the drivers just go straight and they crash. He lost it twice. Lost the backhand
Yeah,
and
losing on exit, probably being a bit too early on the throttle. As Elias is now on the oval part, only have to go with this chicane, and then there's the final 2 corners, which is a chicane as well, but shouldn't be too hard for Elias to get through. Having 7 seconds down to P2, he can take all the time that he wants to get through these final 2 corners.
yep,
First
he's
one nicely,
not.
second one nicely, it doesn't go into the wall, and that's a win for Elias in base 1.
He was still going very hard on the curbs. Jesse Hayes put on a beautiful battle for the win. Sadly, he just lost the backhand and lost this win with that. But yeah, a beautiful, beautiful battle between them two. Chris Bassett.
But there's still a lot of revenge to have in race 2 between those two.
Yep, Chris Bassett will finish now in third place. He's going very slowly. Sebastian Van den Heuvel on fourth place. He will still get some points. He will recover the gap to Joe Taberner. Not by a lot of points, but he will recover some of them. Only
So try
2 more
to do
corners.
some quick
No.
math in my head. I'll try and figure out how the current standings will be.
I think it's going to be around 70 points between Joe Taberner and Victor Hansen, but the gap is still very big between the first 2 drivers. And this is it. Last car that needed to cross the line. And this is it for race 1 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We've had Elias Stromer winning this race in not a dominant way, but yeah, since just this incident, it was pretty much very hard to get him. So we are now seeing the results. Elias Stromer, as we've said, winner of this race. Jesse Hayes in second place, Chris Bassett in third place, Sebastian Van den Heuvel in fourth place, Benny Fish in fifth place, Leon in sixth place, Liam Van Elvoet, seventh place for Victor Hansen, and eighth place for Manuel Gomez, who I think has retired because he has 17 laps back to the leader. Pretty sad for the Spanish drivers, but yep, pretty much this was it for the first race of the day. We will take a short break and then we will come back for the second race, which is going to have reverse grids, and those races are always mad. So we will be having a crazy race. So just stick with us after the break. Hello everyone, so we are back for the second race. As we were talking, we will have reverse grid for this race. So we will be having Manuel Gomez on pole position, Victor Hansen in second place, Van Elvoet in third place, Benny Fij in fourth place, Van den Heuvel in fifth, Bassett sixth, Justin Hayes in seventh place for his home race, and Elias Stromer in the eighth place. So every time we've had a reverse grid on this in this competition, we've had a mad race, and we will be having one again because we are starting the second race of the day. It's a beautiful start from the poleman, and Van Elvoet will try to send one out the inside. He just thinks better about it and he doesn't go down the inside. He just keeps there behind in second place. Hansen, Van Elvoet, and Van den Heuvel. This is the podium places after the start. Still going very close. We will be having a 3 wide. And Van Elvoet, and there's someone in the wall. Victor Hansen.
Yeah, that's elbowed into the wall, and Sebastian Van den Heuvel into the lead. After just 4 corners, he manages to get himself up from P4 into P1, and lovely start from that driver. As we go a bit further down, where is Justin Hayes? He's up into P3 now.
Oh, that's a huge crash!
A lot of
Three cars
involved in that
involved.
one. That's a Benny Fij I spotted. Is he just gonna... No, is that Van den Heuvel?
The cars that were first and second has collided, and they took with him Justin Hayes, the driver that is at his home Grand Prix. We're going back live with Chris Bassett leading the race. Van
Yeah,
Elvoet
we have yellow flag. Are we
and
gonna
we're
get a safety car? We might be.
Yep, we have a safety car out in lap 1 of the second race. Chris Bassett leads, Van Elvoet second, Stromer third, and Justin Hayes fourth. He kept a good position after the crash. He looks like hasn't lost a lot of space. Manuel Gomez has retired off the race, and I wonder if it's because if it's because of the crash or if he just retired.
Yeah, I think this isn't the Gomez's day, unfortunately. So might just be leaving to clear his mind out, not get into too much trouble anymore. There is healing damage, as you mentioned earlier, so it wouldn't have anything to do with that. Have a perfectly fine working car for the restart that we're gonna have now. But that's Bassett up into P1, followed by Elwood, Sturmer, and then Hayes. So the 2 drivers that we saw battling for P1 in our first race is still up there. I think they're gonna have an amazing battle at the restart here. Then we have Van den Heuvel into P5, followed by Victor Hansen. And just to go over the standings again, it is still Victor Hansen up into that P3 in the championship, followed by Elwood with 95 points. And I think I forgot to mention how many points that Hansen has. He has 96 currently. Then it's Sebastian Van den Heuvel with 94 points and Benny Fij with 92. So only 4 points difference between those 4 drivers.
Yeah, it's an amazing
the
battle.
The
Sorry
outcome
for
of this
interrupting.
race is going to be... Yes, go ahead.
Niels, I just heard now that the incident between Victor Hansen and Leon Van Elvoet has been noted, and it will be investigated after the race. So again, we will have another investigation and maybe some penalties again on this track. We've seen with the Formula V's when there was the incident between Benny Fij and Joe Taberner that we've had a lot of drama. It looks like we have drama again on this track.
Yeah, it does show that it is a tricky track. Also, I didn't really see the incident. Did we get a replay? I think we got a replay, but
Yes,
not the best thing we got on that one. Looked like Van den Heuvel lost it a bit, hit the wall, and then Benny Fij just not having enough time to react and never really collides with the car in front. So my initial opinion on that one is going to be that not much is going to be happening, but maybe they have different views on the incidents.
Yeah, I honestly don't think that there should be any penalties on this incident, but this is only my opinion. It was just looking like the Benny Fij really couldn't avoid it, and also Van Elvoet just lost the backhand and he took Benny Fij with him. I don't think there should be any penalties, but we will see what the stewards will decide after the race. So Benefich has been very fast after qualifying. He's got a good start in the first race, but then he was in numerous incidents. He is now again into an incident on this track. When will this guy get a break?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Not much he could have done about this one. Uh, I think let's just scroll back the time a bit to the last time we drove here in the Formula V's. Of course, lucky moment between him and Joe Taberner, but I love the incident that Benny Feach is involved in isn't always his fault. Of course, there are some incidents that may have been able to do something about, but just unlucky for a French driver that he gets himself involved in so many incidents. But that's racing. Can't get lucky always, and sometimes you're just a bit more unlucky than some of the other drivers. Luckily, you do not get a damaged car in these series, so it's possible to make a recovery even after a huge impact as the one we've just seen and the one we're getting a safety car from now with Sebastian Vettel up into P5 again. I say again, he started P4 this race as he overtakes Justin Hayes briefly. So you're not ruled out of anything just because you have an incident. And I think that's a nice touch to this series.
Yep, I was just reading the chat and look at Benny Fish, they're going flying past. Yeah, I was reading the chat and there was someone saying Justin Bad only P4, and I was wondering if is he a friend of his or
Yeah, I'll say it's a good friend of Justin Hayes, having done several endurance races with Justin Hayes. Haven't had much success with him, unfortunately. Neither have I. But that's a different story. I do blame it on Elsa, though.
Yep, I just got the information now. Benny Fitch has been flying there, going very fast because he is allowed to overtake and get his lap back. So he still has a chance to get a good result in this race after the incident that happened. We are still in lap 3 out of 18, and the safety car is still out. I think the incident is cleared, but the safety car is waiting for Benny Fish to come back on to recover the gap and come back with the other drivers.
Yeah, just to touch a bit on that statement from Elsa again. I think it's a great start from Justin Hayes, of course, not getting involved in the incident where a lot of cars crashed and he was able to overtake a lot of them, but starting P7 and up into P4 already on what is half a lap of actual racing. Now that we've had quite a few
but look
laps
at
on the
Elias.
safety car.
Elias has recovered 5 places from the grid.
And
38.
That's an even better start from Elias, but yeah, we're only 4 laps into the race, so it's going to be interesting to see how the restart is going to work out. Seeing both drivers with enormous space.
I think we will be going back to green after this lap. Yes, the safety car will be in after this lap. So we will be going to racing when the safety car will come into the pits. So Chris Bassett, Leon van der Voort, Elias Stromer, Justin Hayes, and Sebastian van den Heuvel. This is how the first 5 drivers are panning out right now on lap 4 out of 18. So
yeah, but just a quick question to you. We've seen some of the other races with the Formula V's that in the second race there have been some upsets from drivers not having amazing pace in race 1, but certainly finding a lot of time on the track in race 2 and getting a win, even though they started all the way back in race 1. So what do you think? Is the car too new? Are they not comfortable with the car yet, and is that going to have an impact, or are we going to see an upset from Bassett that's currently into P1?
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that we've seen Van den Heuvel in the first race here with the Formula V's. He was pretty much slow. I remember I was reading the chat before the race, and he was saying something like, "Wow, what a maniac designed this track! It's horrible for driving." And in the second race, he actually won it. So you might just find gap. You might just get used with the car and get a good result. So I don't know. We might have some surprises. if I would have to bet right now, I couldn't, because I think that any of the 7 drivers that are still in the race do have a chance to win this one. So, it's interesting to see. It's a beautiful battle. And
As far as I know, we are not following any official series, so it's all new for every single driver here, and it's all down to the practice they've done before the race. So perhaps race 1 is a good practice for them to see what they're able to do as we are going now. That's Chris Bassett putting the throttle down and getting a bit of gap to Elwood. That's now an attack from Elias Sturmer. Is he gonna go for a move? Thinks about it. He is side by side after turn 1. That's
Yep.
a great move from Elias Sturmer. Justin Hayes, sorry, not able to get past Elwood on this occasion, so giving a bit of grab to his rival. As Elias is now all over. Chris Bassett's back.
So Elias got an amazing restart. He's up into 2nd place, and he's very close to get that 1st place and maybe go for the win again. Very close to the wall there, but he keeps the car on the track. Beautiful restart from the German driver, and he starts to build a gap to Van Elwood. But let's see, they are still going very close onto each other.
Yeah, that's actually Sebastian overtaking Justin Hayes in the background there. So, and that's a huge impact there. After the chicanes, we get a replay.
Van Elwood
Elwood losing it on the exit. And
just
Justin Hayes
as we
spinning, trying to
said,
avoid the Dutch driver.
just as we were talking before the race in the qualifying, we've said that a lot of drivers go a lot on those curves, and they are very, very dangerous because they are very high for these cars. And these incidents, I think, they were bound to happen at one point. But just as we were talking, Elias Stromer is now leading the race, and he might get the double on this track. We've seen last week Joe Taberner got the double. He won the 1st race, and he also won the 2nd race after starting last. Now Elias Stromer is leading the race, and he is, I think, strongly thinking for the double.
Yeah, of course, Chris Bassett, not to rule him out or anything, but he didn't really show great pace in race 1, not compared to Elias at least. So I think he's gonna be having a tough time trying to catch up and get back into the lead. As Elias just have to get his head down and focus on extending his current gap. I don't think he's gonna be able to do that. Talking about Justin Hayes, of course, he's closest to competition in race 1. He's pretty far down, so not much competition as it seems right now. Sturmer pulling a 7/10 gap from Chris Bassett.
Elias
Driver setting the fastest lap here. How does
Elias
that work?
just looks incredibly fast on this track. He just looks like he doesn't have any opponent. In the 1st race, he's had some opposition from Jesse Hayes, but with the mistake that the American has done at the start, Elias Stromer just looks like he's easily going for this win, because he's already having 1.3 seconds after only 3 laps. Oh, and that's
that's a huge touch from Bassett coming out of the final corner onto the oval. So you're gonna watch a replay here of a crash from that's Elwood. Yeah, and that's the incident we were talking about before. Yeah, just taking a lot of exit curb.
Oh.
That's not something you want to do in these cars. They don't like sausages at all.
We were seeing there in the replay, Justin Hayes, he was also spinning. We could have seen him at the bottom of the stream. I don't know what happened. I think he might have just got scared and lost the car going before the straight line, but I don't know what happened. He lost a lot of time there.
Yeah, I think he's been trying to avoid Elwood crashing out of the chicane, so I think it's just unfortunate timing for our American driver. Not that he could have done much about the spinning car. It's just a mistake from his part. Of course, better than him ramming into the side of Elwood. This is Roval up into P3 again. Amazing recovery from the driver that we saw crashed early on. He's going to be hunting down Chris Bassett. I don't think he's going to be competing for any kind of win as it currently is. Elias Sturming having amazing pace in this race too. Really is just one of the cars. Shows who's been doing a lot of practice in these cars and who's still fairly new to them, I would think. I know some of these drivers are not huge fans of these cars. They are very tricky to drive if you're not used to them, have done some practice with them.
I do think that a lot of these drivers are also practicing for the race that will happen tomorrow with the W12s. We will be having our first race tomorrow, and it's going to be, I'm sure, an amazing race. That car is the newest car added on the iRacing grid, and it's just a beautiful car. I wasn't really into iRacing cars. I mean, I was playing it 3 or 4 years ago, but I haven't played a lot. But with the new adding of the Formula 1 cars, I'm just extremely into the game, and it's just beautiful to drive those cars. I'm just looking super forward to that race that is going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can do in sim racing, taking Formula 1 car and put them on tracks you would never see them at, going for Nordschleife or Tsukuba if you're insane enough. So it's really fun to see, looking around on Reddit and such, what the people come up with, and just how extremely fast those cars are. You can compare it to an LMP2, and they're immensely faster. It's really crazy. No other way to put it. I haven't given them a go myself, fortunately, but I'd love to at one point. As Benefice is now very close to Van den Heuvel. You know, those two had a bit of a moment last time we went here in the Formula V, so hopefully it's going to be a bit more clean this time, as Van den Heuvel manages to create a slightly bigger gap, but it's not big enough for Benefice to drop off. I think it's going to have a nice run into the chicane here, as there's only, that's 3/10 separating those two drivers, or 2.5, I should say. Certainly more than enough time to get something done to the chicane here, as he looks for a move around the outside. No, not quite. I was gonna say that would be very optimistic of him to do, as the gap is now increased to 4/10, and that's not gonna be anything done for Feature on this occasion, as we now have
and it's a crash.
Race.
It's a crash.
Yeah, that's Van den Heuvel into the wall, and Benefice getting past.
Oh, I think this is the wrong replay. I think we're seeing Van Elvoet.
This is not it.
I think Elias Stromer has crashed. Elias Stromer is now into second place. What happened? Elias Stromer was looking like he was going for the win, but let's see what happened. Oh. He just went on the curb and he crashed.
On the curb, and
this is very dramatic.
Into the wall. Yeah.
But he just got back. He just got back to the lead.
Got back into the lead. I was gonna say that's exactly what Chris Bassett was looking for, hoping.
Let's see the replay of the overtake. That was a mistake.
Yeah, bad exit from Chris Bassett, and Elias Sturmer driving past very easily. It's a shame for Chris Bassett. Would have loved to see him get this win, and not Elias Sturmer driving off as we've seen him doing in races 1 and 2. Yeah, a lot of pace from Elias Sturmer, and half a second between Benefice and Bassett, so Benefice finding a lot of pace all of a sudden. He's going to be able to get past Sturmer.
Justin Hayes just set the fastest lap, 1.08. He's the first driver to go under the 1 minute and 9 seconds gap. So he is very fast, and Justin Hayes is just finding the pace to recover, maybe to a podium position, seeing how close the gap is. Maybe, just maybe, he's also thinking about winning because the gap is not that big. He's just 3 seconds behind the race leader, so he's just not that far.
No, very close between these top 3, so if they start battling, that's certainly a possibility.
Oh, that's a crash, Benefice!
That's Benefice crashing out of the chicane as we get the replay here. See, he's gonna have a bit of dirty air coming into the chicane as he disappears.
Oh, I think that was a network issue.
Ah,
Oh, so unlucky. Just when we were talking about him and the luck that he's had.
it's unfortunate. And that's Elwood. What's
Another.
happening to this one? The chicane again? Yeah,
Oh.
too much curve again. It's a repeat of the incident he had earlier, and it just shows that that chicane is very tricky for these drivers and the car.
Yeah, and we've seen how easily he repaired his car. I think he just pressed a button and he repaired his car. And I wonder how would that look in real life. Imagine after a crash, someone just repairing his car, pressing a button. Like, I just wonder how would races look in real life with this thing in it.
Yeah, something like Le Mans would certainly be a different experience if you could just press a button and that's it. Car repaired.
Yep, I remember here in Romania when I was little, there were these cars that you were just with radio command, I think, and you could have just raced with it, and when you've crashed, you press the button, and it would come at their original look, and it was just an amazing toy to have. And yeah, we are now having the same thing in sim racing.
Yeah. Reminds me a bit of Need for Speed as well. Driving through the car wash and then you're good to go. Your Bugatti is now sparkling new again.
Yeah, beautiful game, Need for Speed. I do think, though, the Need for Speed games have kind of lost their hype. I don't know if it's just me, but it was when I was a kid. Need for Speed was at their peak. Everyone in my class was talking about it and was mad to play it in that period. Right now, I don't see kids talking that much about the game.
No, I think as you start to move into the sim racing world, you're gonna move away from the arcade. I think it's still a pretty big series, but of course not as big as it may have been before. A lot of other series are starting to come forward as well. We see Forza Horizon 5, just a next example of a great arcade game. It's way different from something like Need for Speed and The Crew, just to name another one. Then Project Cars getting into that kind of arcade world, I guess you could say. So yeah, Need for Speed having some competition.
Yeah, and also the rise of the Formula One game, because Formula One is getting a lot of new fans, and also the game is becoming more and more popular. And as EA bought the game, it's Chris.
Well, that's Brendan Heuvel with a bit of a mistake, and Justin Hayes
is very close.
Very close, a 10th between those two, and that's going to be an easy pass on the low end of the oval. That's job done. Is Sebastian Brendan Heuvel going to be able to get a move back out of the chicane? Let's see if he survives.
No
Doesn't
problem.
die on this occasion.
No problem for them.
Very well driven by the Dutch driver. Not close enough for a move into the final chicane, unfortunately. Perhaps into turn one. Let's see how he gets through this. They're both getting a pretty good exit, but yeah. Fortunately, Justin Hayes having a bit of a
that's a scene!
spins now.
That's a crash!
Oh no, Justin Hayes.
Oh,
we're talking about him having great pace and actually having a possibility of getting up into those podium places. We see him spin in turn 2. So unfortunate for our American driver, but I think it all goes back to what we were talking about earlier. These cars just being so difficult to drive. Get a bit too happy on the throttle, and the rear end just snaps on you.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking it might also be the lack of experience that these drivers have with these cars.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the first race with these cars, and as I was saying, a lot of them I think are focusing on the race that will be tomorrow at 7 p.m. on the Silverstone track. We will be racing with the Mercedes V12s, the newest addition to the iRacing game. So don't forget to watch tomorrow the race. It's going to be beautiful. I'm sure it's going to be beautiful.
Yeah, 30 car grid, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that is going to be something.
It's gonna be it's gonna be a spicy race, to say the least. Really looking forward to that one.
Yep, I don't know if I will be commentating tomorrow, but surely I will be watching it. Yep, so Stromer first, Van der Heuvel second, Chris Bassett in third place, and Justin Hayes in fourth place. Justin Hayes, he's fast, but if he would just keep out of incidents, I think he would have easily got that second place because he's the second fastest driver on this track, and he was looking like he was the only real opponent of Elias Stromer, who is now strolling for the win.
And he's showing why he won race 1 and why he's in the lead of race 2 here. As Justin Hayes gets a move on Chris Bassett. Easily done by the American driver getting up into a podium position, actually.
Yep,
He
and we are
was
now in the last lap.
talking about that earlier, and he's managed to do that here on the last lap. Unless Chris Bassett has something to say, it doesn't seem like it, as he uses 6/10 out of the last corner. So Justin Hayes having to keep it clean. Perhaps his tires starting to wear out here towards the end of the race.
Yep, and Justin Hayes, I don't think he has the time to recover the gap to Van den Heuvel. The gap is 2.5 seconds. He doesn't look like he has the time to recover. Oh, and he's also collided with the wall. I think the pressure got up to him. But I think we should be watching Elias Stromer, who is now very close to winning this race. He's on a straight line. He has only 2 more corners to go until he will get the win of the race. Here he goes. He won race 1. He led almost every lap of the second race, and he will now get a double. Elias Stromer, winner at the Charlotte Motor Speedway reverse grid, and also of the first race. Sebastian Van den Heuvel, winner of the second race. Justin Hayes in third place. He was very fast, but he just couldn't match the pace of Elias Stromer. Chris Bassett in fourth place. Victor Hansen will be finishing fifth. Van Elvoet in sixth place. Benny Fish is out of the race, and Manuel Gomez is also out of the race. And I think this was it for the second race. Well, not, because Van Elvoet still has a little bit to go till the end of the race.
Yeah, just have to get through these final 2 corners nice and safely, and then it's gonna be it. Get through the first one nicely and the second one nicely as well. So, getting the race done, getting a P6 as well, as we see donuts from Elias Stürmer, and I think that's he's allowed to do that. He certainly deserves that with the kind of drive you've shown us today. And yeah, let's just run through our results here. We have Elias Stürmer into P1, of course, winning by 3.5 seconds, or 3 seconds and 6/10, followed by Van den Heuvel, then Justin Hayes, Chris Bassett, Victor Hansen, Leon Elwood, sorry, getting a bit confused, Benny Fish, and then finally Manuel Gomez, fortunately leaving us in this race. But if I'm not mistaken, that means Sebastian Van den Heuvel is up into P3 in the championship with 112 points, followed by Victor Hansen with 106. Then we have Elwood with 103 and Benefich with 98. So going into this race, it was very close. Of course, still a close battle for P3, but Sebastian getting a nice gap in the championship.
Yep. I wonder if we will have any interviews. Right now, it doesn't look like we will have. Even though it would be very interesting to hear something from our winner from both races, Elias Stromer. I don't know if he will come here. I'm not really sure, but we will. Yep. So until we will see if we'll get any interviews. Remember, tomorrow we will have a race with the Mercedes V12s tomorrow at 7 p.m. on the Silverstone track. As Ule mentioned, it's going to be a 30 cars grid, so it's going to be an amazing race. And yeah, I think pretty much this was it for the iRacing round number 9 at the Charlotte Motor
we can have a bit of an interview with Elias. That's going to be interesting to hear his thoughts of this race. As just wait for him to join our Discord channel.
Yep.
Let's see how fast he is. Not showing the pace in Discord as he showed on track. Unfortunately, let's see. There he is.
I can't manually join the channel, by the way.
Ah,
I can see it, but not join it.
Oh, I see. So,
technical
Elias,
difficulties.
beautiful first race, beautiful second race. Talk us through how do you feel and how did you felt in those two races?
Oh, the first race had a really nice battle with Justin. That was really fun until he like spun out after a bit. Yeah, second race wasn't that good, I'd say. Good. I had a few moments where I went off, but yeah, I surely had the pace, I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Great
know what
pace from
else to
you
say.
in both races. Of course, unfortunately, Justin Hayes made a bit of a mistake in I think it was the final corner before you go onto the oval, where you just
No,
managed
it
to get
was
a
in turn 1.
6 second.
He spun
Was
off
it in
in
turn
turn 1.
1?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But you got a 6 second gap and had a pretty easy race from there on.
Yeah, that's true.
Race 2, you had an incident yourself. But you
2, actually.
still managed. Yeah, you had 2. Yeah, but
Yeah.
still managed to pull a nice gap and win by 3 seconds. We talked about these cars early on, as it's a new car for this series. Do you think a lot of drivers are caught out by the way that these cars are driven compared to something like the Formula
Some
V?
people are not used to the style they're driving, and it takes a lot to get used to these cars, I'd say. Like, they're pretty light and have a lot of fucking power in them. And yeah, the rear just feels a bit wonky sometimes, and especially on these tracks with the elevation changes in the Roval part, the car doesn't like that, and you have to be really careful during the middle sector to not just throw away the car.
So very easy to make a mistake in these cars, you'd say?
Hmm?
So it's very easy to make a mistake in these cars, you would say? Or
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Also, you more use engine braking than you use your normal brake. Because if you use your normal brake too much, your rear will quick out, or the car will lock up really quick.
Yeah, and
Yep.
compared to the Formula V's and MX-5 for that matter, this is a much more powerful car.
Yeah, definitely.
How do you find it? You have great pace in it. Is it something you've driven a lot, or does it just suit your driving style?
It suits my driving style more, and to be honest, I hate the V. I don't really like the Mazdas. And and the Radicals, I've never actually done an official race, to be honest. But yeah, I like the car, I like how it feels. Like it's a mix of like pace wise a GT3, and you have the downforce of an LMP2, which is pretty nice. But the driving style is still completely different.
So we're
Yeah,
gonna see a lot
it
of pace
suits my
from you
driving
here in
style more.
the final 4 races, or 3 races, I should say, as we've done one of them now.
Yeah.
Yep, and I'm wondering, you've completed pretty much the last two first challenge, and you are one of the least drivers to complete a double into a weekend. So I'm wondering, how did you felt winning after starting last in the second race?
I mean, I fucked up my quali, so first race was I have to. Yeah, I was kind of happy to be honest to start from the back because I'm not that good at starting these cars because I hate standing starts. And if you put too much throttle in these cars, it's better to start. Like you get rear wheel spin pretty easy. So I like it better to start from the back. And yeah, also in lap 1, it's pretty easy if you get into fights early that you like understeer on cold tires with this car, especially in the middle, like in the Roval section, as you saw in the race 2, for example. And yeah, it's safer to start from the back then. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have mind to start from the front row either, but still.
Yep, I see. And with this, I do think this is the end of the stream. Thank you for everyone who was watching. Thank you, Elias, for this beautiful battle that you put on. And yeah, we will see you tomorrow for the race with the Mercedes V12s. Until then, take care, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye bye.